So, we are still talking about functions. We're going to use this thing called function notation. Does anyone know what the word notation means? Because I actually say that word a lot. Notation is how you write something. Okay? So, for example, we have common English notation that we put a period at the end of every sentence, or a question mark, or an exclamation mark, etc. Okay? Notation is the way you physically write something down. So, function notation looks like this. And it really could be any letters. Have you seen these before? This is the most common one. Have you seen that before?
Yes.
How do you say that? Like, how do you read that? F of X. How would you say this one? G of X, H of X, J of X. Okay? That is a fancy way of saying that if you graph that, it's going to pass the vertical line test. It's a function. We're already telling you it meets those requirements of being a function that we've talked about. So, when I get a problem that says find G of 10, I need to start off by finding the G function. Which one's the G function? That guy, G of X. And do you notice that the X is replaced with 10? That means that I look at the equation they give me, or the expression, and I'm going to replace X with 10. So negative 3 times 10 plus 1 is what they're asking me to solve. What is negative 3 times 10? Negative 30 plus 1? Negative 29. So G of 10 is negative 29. Easy peasy?
So it's algebra?
Yep.
No, algebra.
I love algebra. F of 3. Which equation am I going to look at? Just a minute. Which one? The F equation, right? And I'm going to plug in a 3 where I see the X. So 3 Gesundheit. So 3 squared plus 7. What is 3 squared? Plus 7 is? So F of 3 is 16. What about H of negative 2? Here's my H equation. 12 over negative 2. So my answer, H of 2, is negative 6. Easy peasy, right?
Yeah.
Now, just to kind of relate this to what we were doing before, the letter that's going in here is replacing what? I'm sorry, the number is replacing what letter? X. Which means that number right there is an input value. If 10 was the input on letter A, what is the output? Negative 29. So if I needed to write this as an ordered pair, what would the ordered pair be? 10 comma negative 29. Input, output, X, Y. So in essence, it's another way of representing a function like we did the last couple days. Okay? All right, J of 7. What's that going to be? 2 times 7 plus 9. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 9 is 23. So J of 7 is 23. Ha! See what I did there? H of A. What does that mean? That means I'm going to look at which function, the H function, and it's saying where you see X in there, put what? Put an A instead. So H of A is just going to be 12 over A. That's it. So 12 over A I can't simplify. 12 over a number, like over here, I could simplify. But 12 over A, I just leave it. Okay? Now is my challenge question. I love these ones. Find X, so find the input value, if the output value is 16. So which equation am I looking at first of all?
G.
The G equation. So they're telling me I need to find out what x is, but they're telling me that g of x is 16. So 16 is actually going to go in here because it's the output. So 16 equals negative 3x plus 1. And I need to figure out what x is. How do I do that? Not yet.
You subtract 1.
I need to subtract 1 first. So 15 equals negative 3x. Now I can divide by negative 3. And what does x equal? Negative 5. So I'm giving you the output and which formula to use or which function equation to use, and you find the input. Okay? Can you try that with letter G?
Yep.
So let's see. Negative 2 is the answer, and I said it equal to which equation? The H equation, which is 12 over x. Now this one's a little tricky because I need to get rid of the fraction, don't I? How do I get rid of the fraction? What I could do is I could put this over 1 and then I could do cross multiplying. Or what did I hear over here? I could do the reciprocal, multiply by 12 over x. I can do something even a little bit simpler than that. I can multiply just by the denominator, because it'll make the denominator cancel out over here and it reappears over here. So over here I have negative 2x equals 12. Now I divide by what? Negative 2 and x equals negative 6. Kind of crazy?
So it's like C?
Say that one more time. It's like
It's
C.
like C, because they both equal negative 6.
Just like letter C. Yes,
Yeah.
kind of. Yes. However, in this one, it's the output value that's negative 6. This one, we just found out that the input value was negative 6.
Oh.
Okay? All right, last one like this. These are the hardest ones, by the way. Find x if f of x equals 23. So 23, I'm going to set that equal to what? F equation, which is x squared plus 7. Now, we won't have too many x squareds. We're going to stick with what's called linear, which is just the plain old x's, but I think we can do this one. What do I need to do here? Subtract 7. What is 23 minus 7? 16? Huh. How do I get x by itself if it's x squared? I would actually take a square root. That skill to me isn't a big deal for you guys though. You'll learn more about that in IM2 and IM3. But can you look at this and say what number when I square it gives me 16? What number to the second power is 16? 4. So x equals 4. Technically it equals 4 and negative 4, but we'll just stick with positives for now. Okay? So again, H would not be on a test or a quiz. It's just a challenge. But something like F might be. Can you handle F? Yeah? Okay. Translate the following statements into coordinate points, then plot them. So remember, we have an input and an output value. What's the input value for A? What's the x value, the input value? Isn't it negative 1? And the output value? 1. What's the input value for B? Output value? C, input value. Output value. D, input value. Output value. So now I plot those points, right? Negative 1, 1 means I go left 1, up 1. 2, 7 means I go right 2, up 7. That's like up here. 1, negative 1 means I go right 1, down 1. And 3, 0 means I go 1, 2, 3 to the right and 0 up or down. And then I have question A, B, C, D, E. I have E. Is this a function?
Yes.
Does it pass the vertical line test?
Yes.
Yes. So is it a function? Yes. And my explanation is passes vertical line test. Okay? So?
Yeah.
Pretty easy so far, right? Maybe these were a little tricky, but the rest of it should be good, right? Turn the paper over. Oh, shoot, it's upside down. Sorry about that. Now, we're going to find the values if we're given a graph instead of given an equation. So, if I need to find f of negative 4, what's negative 4 again? It's a input or output? Input. It's an x value. So I need to go on my x-axis. I need to find 1, 2, 3. Negative 4 is right here on my x-axis, correct? So I'm going to go, when I have negative 4, I need to find where is my graph when x is negative 4. So when x is negative 4, my graph is up here, correct?
Yes.
What is that y value? That would be the point negative 4 comma what? 2. So guess what? F of negative 4 equals what? 2.
Where'd you find 2?
Okay. So I go to where negative 4 is on the x-axis, find where your graph is. It's up here. And identify that point. That's negative 4 comma up 2. So positive 2. So f of negative 4 is 2.
Oh, what if it doesn't have like a little clock there? Like it doesn't have nothing up.
Then you would estimate. Let's keep going and see. F of 0. That means I'm going to see where x is 0. Well, that's right here. Where's my graph? It's passing right through that point, isn't it?
Yeah.
So at that point is 0, 0. So what's f of 0? 0. What's f of 3? Again, I go on my x-axis, 1, 2, 3. Here's 3. Where's my graph? It's down here, isn't it? So I would say that point is 3 comma, looks like I'm going to have to estimate, right? Negative, this would be negative 1, this is negative 2. It looks like it's more than halfway. So could I say negative 1.7, 8, somewhere in there? I can only be so exact, right? I'm not going to have the exact value unless I have a computer that's telling me. So I'm going to say it's approximately negative 1.7. So that's what you do when it doesn't cross at a nice grid point. Okay? All right, you try D. So? Do you have an answer? So when x is negative 5, we're talking about right here. And guess what? My graph is actually right there. It's not above or below. It's right there. So what does that mean it equals? 0, because that point is negative 5, 0. Okay. Now let's do the backwards ones.
Oh.
So I need to find the x value. I'm giving you the y value. So the y value is 2. What's the x value? Well, let's think about this for a minute. Let me get my little walls. Remember my walls from yesterday?
Oh, that little papers.
Yep. So let's say my y value is 2. That is a y value of 2, correct?
Yes.
I have 2 points on my graph that are at that location. Yes?
Yes.
One of them is this point. And the other one is what? this one right here, what would I say? That may be negative 0.9, comma 2.
Just say 1.
It's not crossing exactly at 1. It's crossing just before 1. In math, we're super exact. It's not crossing through if it's not right smack dab in the middle. So, what is x when y is 2? I actually have 2 answers. X could be negative 4, or it could be negative 0.9. So 2 possible answers there. Try the next one. By the way, these are harder than what you'll see on your homework. Is that the only answer? So when y is 0, that's going to be all the way down here. How many times does my graph touch there? It touches there, right there, right? But it also touches right here. You see that? So I have negative 5, 0, and I have 0, 0. So what are my 2 x values? Negative 5 and 0. And it doesn't matter if you write negative 5 first or 0 first, but as long as you have both of them.
Don't you have negative 4 too?
Negative 4 is not a point on the graph. Negative 4, 2 is a point on the graph. This was just mine that I was using to help find that one. Okay? All right. Swine flu is attacking Porkopolis. Oh no. The function below determines how many people have swine. What is swine? What's swine? I assumed that you guys know what that means, but what's swine? Pigs. Swine is another name of pigs. Porkopolis. You get it now, huh? Okay. So, swine flu is pig flu. It's a flu that attacks pigs. Okay. The function below determines how many people have swine, where T is the time in days and S is the number of people in thousands. So that's my equation. Find S of 4. What does that mean? Well, this is my equation. The 4 is in place of the T, so I put it in place of the T here also. So 9 times 4 minus 4. What is 9 times 4? 36. Minus 4. So S of 4 is 32. So far, so good?
Yes.
What does S of 4 mean? Well, let's see. This means 4 is the input value. It's the T value. It's the time. So we're saying in 4 days. When I'm looking for S of 4, we're talking about 4 days. What's my result? My result is going to be an S value. So in 4 days, we have 32 people? 32 what? 1,000 people. So in 4 days, you have 32,000 people that have swine flu. That's a lot. Okay. Find T when S of T equals 23. So what's this one? Am I giving you the input or am I giving you the output? Output. So I'm going to set 23 equal to what? 9T minus 4. So what am I going to do?
Add 4.
Add 4. What's 23 plus 4? 27. Divide by 9. And T equals 3. What was this asking me? My answer is in days, right? Because it's a time. Time in days. What does it mean that it was asking me for 23? That was asking me in how many days will 23,000 people be affected. So the first two parts, we were trying to find after 4 days how many people are affected. The second part, we changed the question a little bit and say, okay, well, we need to know how long is it going to be until this many people are affected. And then we're finding a time in that case. Okay? I don't think you have any word problems on your homework, but it's always good to have some of those. I love that this was a swine flu attacking Porkopolis. That just made me laugh. So I don't want swine flu bacon. All right, any questions? All right, happy studying.